What up, all you rock stars? How are y'all today? This is Josafat Emiliano coming to you live from Andrews, America. Uh, so good to see you all. Well, not really see you all, but so good for you guys to see me, I guess. Um, Man, it's just so good to be back in Texas, even if it's just for just a few days. I really wasn't sure how this was going to work out because the internet tends to be a little bit spotty here in West Texas, but we're making it work. We are doing some innovative things. I'm gonna have to pick up the mic and get a little closer. Let me know if it gets too loud. I can drop down the gain a bit. Episode two. Episode two of Hey Rockstar, the live stream. Um, I'm just happy that you guys actually got a lot of people who mentioned they liked the first one, and I guess we can only just get better from here on out. I do have a few announcements before I dive right in. West Texas is a little drier than Nashville, y'all. First of all, I just want to say shout out to Low Budget Productions. They are the umbrella over us and many other podcasts. If you guys like to listen to podcasts, like to get your daily dose or weekly dose of the Budget Productions has many categories that you guys can choose from to listen to. Actually, right now, I encourage you if you um, have a Facebook, go to Low Budget Productions page. Production is spelled Productions, and you can follow. We'll set links up to other podcasts. The main ones that we have right now are Training Wheels Not Included, which is the adventures of a I want to say blended family, not so much blended, but like a pre-made, uh, just a new family, just the adventures of a stepfather, stepdaughter, and even a beautiful or crazy dog. It's just been a really cool adventure to or journey to follow along, and the Educated Zombies, which tailors to coming students that are going to college, but they also go on other topics, not just so much collegiate, but there's a lot of good advice for those of you who are up and coming, even for some of those who maybe are considering going back to further your education. It's a good podcast to learn more. One of my personal favorites, and they're kind of on pause, but there's some back episodes, is Weather with a Cup of Joe, which focuses on small town heroes and their adventures, their journeys, and just life and where people come from. And it's dear to me because I'm from small town. As a matter of fact, I'm in Andrews, America right now. Uh, and Revive is also a very inspirational. Um, it's a testimonial. It's a story of a young man and just his journey, his walk with God, and his testimony. And it's something that 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 is really cool to hear young people that still have a desire to have a faith. And I guess that will kind of go in. I just dropped my notes here while I was talking to you guys. Um, because today's story, answering the call, how do I want to put it? Well, before I go to the story, just my other announcement. Starting next week, next Tuesday, we are changing the time for Hey Rockstar. We tried the mornings and they're not bad, but due to things happening, like in my business, my work, we'll be changing the live stream time to the evening, the afternoon. So maybe you can join us during your commute home or like as you're getting your dinner ready. But guess at what time we're gonna do it? I'm not giving you time to guess on the chat. Or actually, maybe. Bam. In the chat. You guys know I love odd numbers, and we are focused on the number 5 because at Rockstar, we focus on 5 areas that you can better yourself. your physical, your spiritual, your mental, your social, and your financial. So why not at 5:55 p.m. we will be launching or we will be starting our live stream next week, next Tuesday. So look for that. All right, I don't want to take up too much more time because the story is a little longer this time. Since I was traveling, I was gonna try to pre-record the video, uh, and and then play it for you guys, kinda like we did last week's, but technology just was not working. I recorded it and, I couldn't get it to my editing software in my laptop. Bless its little hard hard drive heart, but my laptop is old and slow, and it couldn't take the speeds that needed to properly edit the footage. And I do have a software on my phone that I can edit, pretty quickly because I wasn't gonna do much. I just wanted to add, like, a little bit of a fade and then also, uh, get it compressed. But, anyway, technology just wasn't working. So, as I was thinking, "Well, how are we gonna do it?" Finally, at 1 in the morning, I'm like, "You know what? Let's just do this old school. Let's just grab my coffee, sit back, and share the story." Should we have some background music for this? Ha! Answering the call. Now, before I get into the story, as you guys know, one of the areas that I do focus on bettering is my spiritual walk. And so some of my stories do have spiritual undertones, a faith undertone. I'm not trying to use this as a means to evangelize or to try to convert anyone into any faith. By all means, though, if you do have questions, let's talk on the side. I would love to share my stories in that aspect. But I can honestly say that a lot of the best universal truths and values that I've learned are during my faith journey. And this one, answering the call, is a story that I've actually shared many times in my life keynotes, for different occasions to inspire, uplift. But last week, my church did a conference, and in the middle of the conference, one of the speakers was just talking about the call over our lives, uh, to go out and to just become what we've been created to do. And all of a sudden, I had a flashback, and I was remembering the story, and I'm like, I haven't shared this story in a long time. And to me, it was a pivotal point in my life. So let's just get right into it. It was back in I want to say the second year of my sophomore year in college. I had just transferred to a university from a junior college. And this particular university, Southwestern up in Dallas, is a Bible university. Prior to then, I was studying public speaking communications. And one summer, we went off to do some, I believe it was a trip that we took to Mexico, just a group of teenagers. And I felt led to go to just change career paths and go to this Bible university. Anyway, I'm already entering, although technically is my first semester there, but it was my sophomore year, uh, as credits go. And the first class that I had, early in the morning, like 8 in the morning, was something called Introduction to Missions with Dr. Dole Jones at 8 in the morning, before I've had any coffee, and sometimes even before I've had any breakfast. I will tell you this, it wasn't the most inspirational class for me. Because at that time, I really didn't have an interest in missions. I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And Dr. Jones, granted, in the field, he was an awesome man. He still is. He's still very active in the mission field. When it comes to being out there and doing the work, he knows what he's doing. But when it came to teaching it, it came out kind of monotone for me, at least, being a student of communication. Um, but there were moments when he got passionate, and that's when he started talking about his up and coming trip to go help plant a church in Panama. And he looked at me and he goes, Josafat, I would love for you to come to Panama with me. And I looked at him and I said, no, thank you. No, gracias. I mean, I had done some mission work. Like my youth group would go down to Mexico to help with orphanages and such, and that was about the extent. And my dad would take me sometimes to visit some of his old colleagues, but that was like the extent of missions for me at the time. And in my mind, as limited as it was at the time, I was thinking, why would I want to go to a country that might not be as cool as Mexico at the time? I didn't know. Um, but he was persistent. Anytime he'd see me, anytime he'd find me in the hallway, he was Josafat, Panama, Josafat, Panama, Josafat, Panama. And finally I said yes, just to kind of get him off my back. Uh, be careful what you say. There's a funny, the power of life and death lie in the tongue, and those who use it will benefit of its fruit. I said yes, and without even trying, really, the fundraising happened so quickly. Money came in, and I was going to Panama. And I remember actually my mom helped out with that because I was trying to figure out a way to weasel out of it. And she says, you know what, you should go because who knows what kind of adventures you'd have, who knows what kind of experience, and who knows if you'll ever have a chance to do this. So that kind of, and she knows I had a love for adventure. So remember Pirate Rockstar, or at least the pirate part, go on adventure. So Josafat went to Panama. And it was okay. It was humid, very humid. A little more humid in Houston, for those of you who can get that reference. But the first week went okay, and we landed on a Tuesday, and we worked from Tuesday to Sunday nonstop, just going out. And Monday was our day off. Our first day off, we rented I guess, a beach house, or yeah, a beach house on the Pacific side of Panama by the ocean. And it was a nice day at the beach. We just went there, we enjoyed it, we napped. After a while, I went out to just my friends were like in the water, and I went out to join them and splashed around, and I just started kind of like floating and just enjoying the water, just chill. And without me really noticing, the current kind of grabbed me and started pulling me out a little further and further. And before you know it, it happened pretty quickly. And before you know it, I was pretty far away from land. I couldn't touch the ground anymore. I'm like, oh man. So I tried to swim. I tried to swim, and I wasn't going anywhere. As the waves pushed and pulled, I was swinging back and forth with it. And I'm like, no, 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 I can't do this. I was starting to get I was starting to panic. I started swimming. And then once my muscles started getting sore, I'd flip over and start doing backstroke to use opposite muscles and just try my best to make it to 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 land. And then yeah, whenever the back gets tired, I'd flip back over and front strokes. And I was not advancing. This water got more treacherous. It was more. It wouldn't let me go. Then then something scary happened. My legs started cramping up. Yeah, that's when I really freaked out. And in pure despair, in just fright despair, I remember yelling to God, God, I know you didn't bring me to Panama to kill me off in the first week. Still got 6 more weeks to go, or 5 more weeks to go. Well, this part, I would joke around. I would tell people. Now, I don't know if it was rock, coral, or the back of a whale that was passing by, but my heel hit something, and at that moment, something solid, and I'm like, "This is my salvation." And all I remember is I took a deep breath and I held on, and as the current pulled, I held on, and as it pushed, I inched my way towards the beach. holding on every now and then, coming up to just breathe, but just holding on. I could feel the debris hit my face as the current would pull and the water would pull. I'd feel things. And I just kept making my way, repeating the process until I finally got to a point where I got up, where the water only came up to my knees. I got up, I was scratched up, I was bleeding, I was burning from the salt, exhausted, but I was alive. I made my way to a palm tree, and no one even kind of knew what was going on. My friends were still playing soccer at the beach. I think the missionary was taking a nap somewhere on a hammock somewhere. I just found a palm tree. I collapsed in front of it, just put my back to it, and just looking at the water, the treacherous Pacific Ocean, I started having my doubts. I started having fears. And I remember saying, God, what the heck am I doing here? This is not for me. I don't need to be here. I'm not called. This is not my calling. I don't want to be here anymore. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go back to Texas, as far away from the ocean as possible. Well, Tuesday came, and it was business as usual. We went out to the streets to invite people to the crusade or the service they were having that night. Now, the way they would plant churches in Panama, because it rained a lot, is they would build a foundation, and then they would put a roof over it, like a tin roof with some poles to hold it up. And they would build like a little stage, just a little square stage, no walls, just open. They'd bring chairs and then invite people to come in. And as people were coming and started to convert to the faith, and they would disciple them and mentor them. And once they had a good sized congregation, then with help with them, they would build walls later. And that was a pretty cool little trip. Our job was to help them with the start. We funded the foundation and the building of the roof with our fundraisers, and now we were helping them to make a church, build a church. Well, after a long day of just knocking on doors, inviting people, I really wasn't in the mood to be there anymore. Although I was doing the work, my mind had checked out and was already trying to think of a way to tell the missionary, hey, I think next flight out, it's time for me to go. Well, a few hours before, we kind of meet to kind of talk shop. We do a quick devo, and then for a while we're released, and we all go to different parts around under the tent, under the roof, and we're supposed to be praying and interceding for that service. I picked a spot, stage right, sat on the little platform, and I was looking out at the jungle because remember, there's no walls. And instead of praying for souls and healings and all that, I started saying, Lord, get me out of here. God, get me out of here. Take me away. This is not for me. I don't want to be here anymore. I'm ready to quit. Now, some of the locals would actually join us for this moment of praying and getting ready for the service. And in that particular, and it was a charismatic group. So they did practice speaking in tongues. Now, I'm not here to debate that or talk about that. Again, if you want to talk about that, invite me for coffee and we can share our views on it. But I'm just letting you know the story as it happened. I heard this young man just speaking in a language I didn't understand, neither English nor Spanish. So I assumed he was speaking in tongues. And he was kind of louder than the rest and caught my attention. And I turned around to see who it was. He didn't look that familiar, but then again, I he just I didn't recognize him, but he was just someone there. Cool. I went back to saying, God, I'm ready to go. Take me out. I'm ready to leave. I'm making plans. I'm gonna switch my major. I'm gonna be an accountant. I'm not sure. Nothing against accountants or anything. I'm just I don't think this I'm cut out for this. The voice got louder, caught my attention, and I turned around and he had made his way to the front of the stage and he was again praying really loud. Like, all right, cool. He wants more from God. God bless him. I went back to my prayer of God, help me get home. Figure out a way for me to get home before I wind up killing myself out here in another country. This young man got on the stage and he walked right behind me. Now he got my attention. I'm like, what? But he stopped talking. He opened his eyes. He kind of jumped in front, down from the stage and in front of me. Because remember, I was sitting stage right, facing up. And he kind of got in front of me. And he said, Josafat, mi nombre es Juan Carlos, and I don't remember his last name. Let's just say Escobedo, just to be cool. Soy un estudiante del Instituto Bíblico de la ciudad de Panamá. He viajado más de una hora en camión porque tengo un mensaje de Dios para ti. I'll translate, don't worry. I can actually translate what he said then. And he took, well, basically what he said, Josafat, my name is Juan Carlos Escobedo. I'm a student. I'm a Bible school student from Panama City. I have traveled over an hour by bus because I have a message from God for you. That got my attention. He's like, take my hands. Dame tus manos. So he's standing up. He's pretty tall, maybe 6'1", 6'2", but skinny guy. I can take him on. Anyway, so I give him my hands, and I'm still sitting down, and he takes off speaking in tongues again. He just like whatever he said. And me, just as a comic relief. And I tend to joke around with God a lot. Nothing bad, just it's in my nature. Oh, but as he was speaking in tongues, I remember thinking to myself, well, Lord, thank you for this message. Too bad I don't have the gift interpretations, but that's okay. I'm sure it was a good message for me. Then he stopped. He looked me straight in the eyes, and with conviction, he said, Dice Jehová, no dudes, no temes, que te he llamado para hacer cosas aún más grandes que te puedes imaginar. Una vez más, no dudes, no temes. He let go of my hands. He walked off, got on the first bus, left town, never saw him again. In translation, he said, God says, do not doubt, do not fear, for I have called you to do even greater things than you can imagine. Once again, do not doubt, do not fear. The rest of that trip became amazing. I was stretched. I grew. I learned things about me that I was able to do that I didn't even know I could do. But it didn't stop there. Once I got back, I joined SMR and I traveled around the world to do so much. Once I got back from that, I joined film and I started making movies and started getting involved in that industry. And then from there, I'm now in marketing and sales, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And now I'm in the key of relaunching and hopefully launching a full time career as a keynote coach or keynote speaker. It's been amazing because I truly believe that no matter how big of an idea, no matter how big of a dream, no matter how big of a goal I set for myself, God can do something bigger, or He wants to do something bigger with that. Now that's a call. That's a call of my life. And I've had many people tell me, dude, Josafat, I bet that no matter what you do, it's gonna be awesome. Like, I know, because He told me not to fear, not to doubt. Just go out there and do fearless. So my friend, I guess the takeaway from this story is we each have a calling in our lives. We each have something that is passionately burning in us. For some, it might be a podcast. For some, it might be storytelling. For some, it might be starting a business or education or just being the best parent that one could be. But if we take this calling and we answer it, just know that He has greater plans for you. to prosper you, not to harm you. There's a chance we need to take. Monday, I talked about facing rejection and hard no's. If anything is worth doing, if anything is worth getting a huge gains, you will hit objections. You will hit rejections. You will hit no's. But answer that call and keep going. Keep don't take it personal. It's not you, it's them. Don't make it impersonal. Like don't pull your identification from that. And keep and don't stop working on yourself. Don't stop becoming a better version of yourself. Don't stop becoming a physically better person, a spiritually better person, a mentally better person, a socially better person, and a financially better person so that you can use these resources, so you can use this energy, this better version of yourself to go out and answer the call, your call, whatever it is. That's the story that I have for you guys today. Answering the call. Whew. How much time have we been on this thing? Oh my gosh. Let's see the chat. Well, I see shout out to Joe Sanchez as he says, hello, my people, or hello, people. Abby's here. I'm not sure who else is here. Just a few viewers. Oh, yeah, Abby has met Dr. Jones. You know, this time it's not telling me how long the broadcast has been going. In the past, oh, there it is. Oh, wow, 33 minutes. I don't want to take too much more time. Um, yeah. Wow, guys. Every time I remember that story and I share that story, it really encourages me. Um, oh, and 2 days ago, I got to have dinner with a lovely couple, and they shared their stories in the industry of sales and marketing and just their spiritual walk. And I'm like, hey, one of these days I would love to get you on my live stream to share your story. And they're like, I'm scared of people. Like, all right, how about this? How about we just do a Zoom interview and I'll record it, and then later on, that way it's just you and I, and then with your permission, I can release a story at a time. Another thing I'd like to encourage you guys who are watching now or watching later, if you are interested in sharing your stories, send me an email, send me a message. Let me know, hey, I'd like to share. I got a 10-minute, 15-minute story that I would love to share to help empower others. It especially has anything to do with the 5 areas of growth that we focus on: physically, spiritually, mentally, socially, and financially. We're here to encourage one another. We're here to build up one another. Again, I would like to extend a shout out to Low Budget Productions. If you guys have access to either Instagram or Facebook, check out Low Budget Productions. Or maybe Instagram not. But for sure Facebook, to the group page, Low Budget Productions, and it's spelled let me see. You know what? I should put a link to this. Next time I'll keep that in mind so that spell it right? Yeah. I'll keep that in mind so that I can Low Budget Productions. And there's a reason why there's a duck. It has to do with Andrews America. Um, that's just another story for another time. But yes, they have podcasts for everyone that suits everyone's needs, for family advice on bringing in a mixed family, or I don't know what the word is. The word is blended family, but that's if y'all both had kids. But yeah, and there's also another one, Educate Zombies, for anyone interested in going to pursuing a greater education, collegiate education, or if you want to go back to school, they got some great tips for studying, great tips for how to get involved, and just how to survive college life. Um, it's Revive, right? I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm going off the cuff here, which is a faith based, just sharing stories of faith. Um, Well with a Cup of Joe highlights. Well, for now, they're highlighting small town people from Andrews, America, one of my favorite places, and where I'm at right now. Can't wait to go out and eat some of the good food, local cuisines that we have here in Andrews, America. And what else? Oh, and the big announcement next week, we will be streaming we are changing our time from morning to evening at 5:55 p.m. Central Time. Next time, we will be streaming this. So let your friends know. Go ahead and do the Facebook or the YouTube thing. Please like this video. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and share this video. Just tag it on your social media platforms, your Twitter, your Facebook, maybe even Instagram. Like, hey guys, check out this storytelling live stream that I've been enjoying. I want you guys to enjoy it too. Just get the word out, because we're doing this just to share empowerment, to share value, and help people become better versions of themselves, to become the rock star in their industry. So, hey, Rockstar, this is Josafat coming to you from Andrews, America, saying much love and many blessings.